All right, wait. Hey, before we bring on our special guest, Larry Wade Carrell, I think I will see if he's related to Steve Carell. I have the trailer for this movie, and he's going to allow us to screen it. So why don't we watch the trailer? I'm going to share screen, and we're going to watch the trailer before he comes on, so you get a little taste of this movie, The Quantum Devil. Unfortunate that we get to do this. So let's do this. We're now sharing screen, and let's watch this. I gotta put my headphones on here. So okay. Here we go.
I received an unmarked envelope and a one-way plane ticket and
possible quantum by a quantum equation that would change life as we know it.
I present Dr. Richard Cernovich.
Call me Cerno.
Cernovich.
I know that name.
I believe that within each one of you lies a piece of the key to breaching the quantum barrier. The key to the manipulation of time is control of space. Perhaps the answer to the mystery of the afterlife is in death.
I think this is gonna work.
Mind linking. 3, 2, 1. What happened?
The cameras. I know you're dead.
Here, I'm very much alive.
Things are much better when you die.
Reality is fluid. Whatever you think, therefore you are. I give you the greatest quantum breakthrough of the last 200 years.
Oh, where'd Chris go? All right. There we go. Hey, we've got the Quantum Devil director, Larry Wade Carrell. How you doing?
I'm good.
All right, so let's get that question out. Are you related to Steve Carell?
No, I'm not.
Okay, there we go. Moving on. Yeah, tell us about the Quantum Devil.
Man, well, the Quantum Devil is, what really got me into wanting to be a filmmaker was when I was a kid, and we'd go down, we'd check out all the video nasties, and I just fell in love with like Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street, Society, like all these movies inspired me. And when the opportunity came up to do this, and I just wanted to kind of tip my hat to the things that inspired me, but yet make something for audiences today that they can enjoy like I did, when I was, at that age.
Yeah, I did actually get to see the Quantum Devil, and I like the idea behind it. So first, this is a trilogy.
It's 4. It's
a quadrilogy.
Yeah. Quartet. How about a quartet?
Quartet. There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Chris, welcome back.
Okay, I went to close the tab for the trailer, and I kicked myself out. So my apologies for that inauspicious exit from me. Larry Wade Carrell, pleasure to meet you. No relation to Steve Carell.
No. Yeah, in fact, it's Larry Wade Carroll. It's like Christmas Carol.
Okay, got it. Carol. I thought Carell like Steve Carell.
Yeah, no, that's what they used to call me when they called me to the principal's office. Like, Mr. Carrell, could you come to the principal's office, please?
Well, tell us about the film. I'll say that the trailer looks spectacular.
Oh, well, thank you for that. And thank you, Alan, for the exquisite cheese. That's one of my favorite comments I've ever had on any of my work. It's fantastic. I was just saying that, the things that inspired me and made me want to be a filmmaker was when I was a kid. We would go down to the country video store. We check out like Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street, and all those great classic films. And when the opportunity came up to do this, and I was trying to tie it to the other movies, and I thought about those films. I wanted to kind of tip my hat to those films, but make something for today's audience that people might enjoy. I don't. I mean, people are robbed today and don't have that experience of going down to the video store and looking at the big boxes. You know, it's a different world.
I agree 100%. First
Yeah.
of all, the special effects in the film are really impressive, special makeup effects, and also a couple of the cast members like really look the one guy who looks like the spirit demon guy. I don't know where you found him. He looks amazing. But tell me about how you were able to do this on a budget. Obviously it's
Oh,
indie film, but like you really it appears like spared no expense when it came to the effects.
well, what we did is we went to Serbia, and this was entirely shot in Serbia, and our money over there went, you know, like twice as far at the time. And there's a fantastic, some of the best crew I ever worked with out of anywhere, and they had a great, uh, fantastic FX guy who's working all the time. He worked on the Serbian Hellraiser that they just recently did down there. And in
Wow.
fact, when I was shooting Quantum Devil, Mark Hamill was over there because they were going to shoot the Bert Kirshner film. They were also shooting in Serbia, and I was trying to get his attention. I was running around in front of the hotel down there with the Darth Vader hat on,
Oh
and
no.
it did. I don't think he ever saw. So
I'm sure that would have gone over well.
But what is the like? I mean, that seems really intimidating. Okay, it's like an indie filmmaker. I'm gonna go to Serbia and I'm gonna make a film. We're gonna be able to stretch the budget much further. But what is that like? What is that process? Do you have like translators? Do you have someone to kind of drive you around? Are there like preferred hotels? Like, what are some of the like what are some of the details of pulling that off?
Well, first off, I have a fantastic producer, Mr. Loris Kershey, and he's, you know, he speaks like 8 languages. He doesn't never sit still. He's all over Europe. So he put the crew and everything together, and luckily most of the crew had some English that they could speak. They learned over there from watching television because they're too cheap to actually have it dubbed into their language. So they just run the American TV shows and movies in English. So a lot of them could speak English, you know. But man, the crew was so cool, so awesome. Um, uh, like I said, Mickey that did the special effects, he was great. Um, yeah, I mean, I would go back in a heartbeat and shoot there again.
Great. We've got a lot of questions from our audience here.
Uh-oh.
We've got 400 people watching us live right now. So let's actually go to some of their comments and questions here. All right, here, the highlighted comments. I got them. All right, 8L is 24 from Rumble says, was that a Wilhelm scream I heard at the end of the trailer?
Absolutely. There's one in every one of my movies. I have to have one somewhere.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that. The Wilhelm.
Dude, I'm a nerd, man. I'm a movie nerd. I just, you know, all kinds of movies. It doesn't just have to be horror, but you know. So of course, yeah, good ear for that.
Now, how did you pull your cast together? It feels like an international cast.
It is an international cast, yeah. Boris knew some people, and we did auditions. People would do tapes, and they would send them, and I would watch them, and then we would meet like via Zoom. But the two best casting little jewels that I got there, I mean, I don't want to take nothing away from anybody else, but Neil Dixon, the guy who played Cerno, was awesome. And then Mehmet, from you might recognize from Baskin, he was the guy that played Klaatu. It was funny, actually. I was doing research and prepping for this movie, and I wind up seeing Baskin, and it's like, oh my gosh, man, that's the best makeup job ever. And I paused it, and I went and looked at my big TV in the living room. I was like, I can't see any seams, and I contacted Loris, and Loris, obviously, he knew the director. So like the next day, I was on a Zoom call with him, and it all worked out. You know, he didn't speak one word of English, you know, so that's why the English in there, I just, like, you know, I read the lines, and then he memorized them. But dude, he was so cool. He came on set, and like Tyler, the main character that plays Luke, he was the only other American there with me, and they did their opening scene where he encounters Klaatu. And after the first take, he pulled me aside and goes, dude, Larry, that guy scared the shit out of me. He's like, for real, man.
Yeah. You gotta tell me about the guy who played the demigod Barada. I seem to have heard of that guy.
Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. He really did us a solid. After we were done with the film, I went down to Laguna Beach and we met up at a studio there, and we spent a day recording Barada's lines, and that was cool. It was also weirdly annoying. I don't understand why IMDb would never add him to the cast.
Oh,
That's weird. We have a lot of comments from people. More comments, a lot. Trailer, CD Stein 69 says trailer has a Evil Dead meet Event Horizons feel to it. Very interested. Thomas Pickett says, I am into this. It seems like unofficial sequel to From Beyond. From Rumble, $8.24 says the makeup effects look solid. And then Razor Burn says, Larry, I see hints of From Beyond, Flatliners, and Event Horizon. Are you a fan of these movies in interdimensional travel?
Yes, I am, and I try to get off planet as much as I can.
Let's see. Another comment here from Ron Enriquez says, congrats, Larry.
Yes.
Nice to see the underrated Neil Dixon in your film. Really enjoyed him on TV in She-Wolf of London / Love and Curses back in the 90s. Any comment on that?
Yeah, no, Neil, you don't forget Sliders. He was the villain in Sliders that replaced Roger Daltrey. I love Neil. He was a sweetheart. You know, he came and flew over there, and he gave all the rest of the cast like a masterclass in acting. He just nailed. He had this crazy, you know, because I wanted a mustache twirling villain, you know, on purpose. And man, he really delivered.
Another comment here from the nerd far away. Hail, Mr. Carroll. Assuming horror is your favorite genre, what is your second favorite?
I wouldn't necessarily even say genre. I just love good movies. You know, I mean, some of my favorite movies are like Sling Blade, you know, Jaws, you know, and then like I mentioned earlier, of course, those classics I grew up on, like Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street. One thing that a lot of people probably don't know is my partner in Crazed House, Zeffie Daniel, used to be Woody Keith, and he was actually the screenwriter on Society, 1989 Society.
Oh, wow.
He was a screenwriter on Bride of Reanimator, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. I mean, he was back around with Yuzna and Screaming Mad George right in the heyday. And, you know, being able to work with him and you know, when we did Girl Next, I felt like somebody had handed me a script from that back in that era, but it was kind of slightly updated and relevant, you know. So I'm very honored to work with him.
Cool. More comments here from Pilgrim Media for 2. Great trailer. I'm getting a From Beyond vibe.
Yes.
There you go. And from Rumble, Caveat Ties supporter for 2. How does one get started making a smaller movie with just an idea and a script, but no money or experience?
Well, shit's not too hard these days with an iPhone, man. You can just get you some lights and you know, get you some cast and just go to town. There's really not anything holding you back these days.
I agree. Like, I think here's the problem is a lot of people want to do what you did. Okay. To get to where you are, not as easy as you make it look. And by that, I mean this, you made a feature length film. You not just made a feature length movie, you're also releasing the movie and promoting the movie while you're releasing it. I always say baby steps, right? Make a 1-minute short film, then make a 10-minute short film, then make a 30-minute short film and build from there. Every filmmaker starts making small work. You know, one of my favorites is in a lot of the early M. Night Shyamalan DVDs. He showed movies he made as a kid with his VHS camcorder. Like, you see like movies where like M. Night Shyamalan's like literally a kid. He's like a 12, 13-year-old kid making little horror movies, and they're kind of cheesy and goofy like you would expect from a kid of that age. But that's how you have to start. You got to start small. You can't just, you know, you can't just step into your shoes right away. You can't just be Larry immediately. You know, you've got to like make shorts. I assume you made films before this.
I've been doing this for 21 years. My first feature I used to send to you, you probably was going to put a restraining order when you were on G4.
Oh my God.
Game Over, The Secret Life of Game Store Clerks. It's terrible.
Did we ever review it?
No. You
Oh,
got
wow,
you
that's a
guys.
bummer.
Yeah, you dodged. No, you dodged the bullet. I hope no one ever sees it. It's
So you
really
didn't make
bad.
it. You didn't make a DV Tuesday then.
Oh, well, my
No.
apologies for that.
No, well, I mean, I've been at it for a long time. My first feature that got out there was called Jacob, and I was one of the last guys to get a wall of Jacob in Blockbuster Hollywood Video, and I was in all the red boxes, and people would take pictures from all over the states and send them. And that was like right before it started to crap out, you know. And I'm glad I got to experience that, you know, because that's kind of what got me into it. But it certainly isn't that way anymore. It's so hard.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's some places you go and you work and you raise the budget and you make a movie and then they quietly just dump it on streaming without any kind of support.
Wow. Super chat here from Bushin Ryu Cat for 5. Larry, I can see you as the surprise villain in your movie. You have that dashing look. Music is important to set the mood. How did you choose it? Did you have a composer? Like, how did you get the music?
Well, I've got a real dream team assembled, you see. I always go out, my composer, Colin McGuinness, he's from the UK. And I actually found him when I was cutting a trailer for Girl Next. He had a great piece of music on like the Universal production music site. And actually, my partner, Zeph, he just emailed the guy, says, man, we love what you do. Would you be interested in scoring? And now we've done 3 features together. And I do think music's important. I think what our job is as artists and not just filmmakers, but like if it's a songwriter or if you're a painter or a photographer, you want to tell a story and you want to set a mood, you know, so your color palette's important, the music's important. In the Quantum Devil, we open to a black screen and this big ominous dun dun, and then you know, and it's this, you know, just trying to set the tone, and it's raining and it's dark and it's thunder and lightning, you know, trying to get the audience ready for like an old Hammer horror film or something, you know.
Let's see. Henry Back to Play just sends in a 499 super sticker, which is cool.
Nice.
Another question here from Brock Samsonite. What's been your favorite practical effect to work with so far?
Well, skinning old Brad there and was pretty fun.
No,
no, actually, the one I think was.
Off? How do you pull that off?
Oh, you just pull it off.
Literally pull off the skin, but it's like fake skin. And
well, I mean, if honestly, what we did is we had the actor go, and he lived in the UK, so I sent him to a studio. I made a deal, and they did a 3D scan of his body, and then they sent it to Serbia, and the Serbian guy did a 3D printout of his body, and they sculpted all the skinless pieces, and then you know, it's just some clever, you know, tricks to make it look like his skin came off, you know. But it was exciting, man. It's one of the things that fascinated me about Hellraiser. But actually, my favorite practical effect is I really wanted just like a very sexy, hot zombie just running around naked, you know, as much as I could to film. And Mickey really bought into that, the FX guy, and he did this great makeup. It's reminiscent of you know, the zombie chick in the bathtub in The Shining, you know, a little bit.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the dancing punk rock girl from Return of the Living Dead, which is another, you mentioned like a full nude zombie, and that popped into my head immediately. Yeah.
Well, what's fun though is like I had this. I don't want to give away too much, but there's a great scene because the guy's remembering when he was making out with her and she was still hot, and she's actually on top of him, but she's a zombie and he's kind of passed out. And he kind of wakes up from his dream, and she's like on top of him, riding him, and then maggots start falling out of his mouth, and he's screaming. And like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think I made poor Tyler like gag a couple of times.
Oh my God! Wow, we're giving away some spoilers here. You're giving away some spoilers. And a final question here.
Okay.
From Solomon Thornton says, "Hello, Sir Larry. Cool trailer. Any advice for beginning filmmakers?"
Just don't quit. If it's really what you want to do, just don't quit. And you're going to get a lot of negativity. You're going to get a lot of egos. You're going to get a lot of people that are, you know, not really for what you're doing. But if you really want to do this, just go out there, get on any set you can get on. It doesn't matter if you're taking coffee or, you know, cleaning up trash, become a production assistant and just learn and watch and Another thing that helped me was every DVD or Blu-ray I'd buy had a film school on it because they'd have these features, these featurettes, and you can learn so much listening to the commentaries and DPs and lighting and you know. But it's really up to you. The only thing that could stop you is you. You know, so if you know set your goal and just head toward it and don't give up.
I'll say that's the advice that I give. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson said he learned about movies by just listening to commentaries on Laserdisc at the time. There's a very famous commentary track from Martin Scorsese, to bring it back, because we were talking about Killers of the Flower Moon. He did a commentary track for Taxi Driver that was for the Laserdisc that came out way back when, that has been, it's made its way onto some of the versions of the DVD, but it's like a masterclass film school with Martin Scorsese. And it's one of the few times he's done a commentary track. I mean, it's really fantastic, but that whole thing of never quit. I mean, that's the difference between you sitting here talking to us about your movie that's now being released, and, you know, you can pick it up. In fact, I found there's a website you can go to. It's geni.us/The Quantum Devil. We'll put the link in the description where you can find The Quantum Devil on VOD. You can just look for it. You just search for it. The Quantum Devil, you'll find it.
Yeah. iTunes, Prime, anywhere you like to watch movies.
All those places. And
it's cheap.
Yeah. I love it.
$4.99.
$4.99. It's as cheap as a super chat. You could be watching your film, but it's really important, because when I first moved to LA, a lot of people talk. Every bartender has a screenplay, or someone has an idea for a script, but they're too lazy to write it. The people like yourself that put in the actual work, they're like, I'm going to write this screenplay, and I'm going to find the money, and I'm going to do and I'm going to build up, and maybe I'm going to do a short film on the side, because it takes a long time to getting a feature film made. And I'm going to do the work to get a film made and get to the point where people can then see it. And one thing I've said this many times is that from concept in your head to like actually the movie being released, the average time for indie filmmakers, I heard the statistic from a producer I met at Sundance, says it's about 7 years. So I thought of an idea, and then the movie was released, right? Idea thought of, movie released, 7 years. Is that your experience, or was it shorter?
For me, it's been 2. Like 2 years. Over.
But you've made other movies. You've made other movies.
Yeah, but even like in my first one, like I never was interested in making shorts. I think I've only made like one. So that first thing that I used to send into G4, that awful awful Kevin Smith ripoff of Clerks in a Video Game Store. Right. We just went out and we did that, and I learned a lot. I don't want nobody to ever see it, but yeah, it's just not quitting is really the key to it, and don't be your own roadblock. You got to stay positive.
You should take that film and just upload it to YouTube for free. I mean, why not?
But it's bad. I will probably never work again. So I've got snap zoom shots of steaming piles of poop with like dry ice in it. It's not really poop, but it's real lowbrow humor. That's
G4 turned it down. I mean,
well,
I was like, I know Chris Gore was going to save me with this film.
Oh my God! It sounds like it actually would have been. G4 should have bought the movie. He should have bought the film. So
no, I'm glad they didn't.
A couple more super chats here, last minute coming. Alejandro Montoya Marin for 2. Viva Indie. Hell yeah. That's why we exist. And Pilgrim Media for 2. Hard to believe his Laserdisc was actually analog. Laserdisc was great. And you knew you were getting the better quality if you had to turn over the disc. So you're watching a movie and it just kind of stops. You had the other Laserdisc players that kind of pause for a second. There's like, looks like something was wrong and had to go to the other side. Yeah. That was when you had the good Laserdisc player. But
the Alien Special Edition 2-disc set.
Right. Oh my God. Those old school. But it's interesting because those special features that were produced at the time specifically for Laserdisc, a lot of those actually did migrate to the DVD releases later because they had that material. Why not just reuse it? I know the Taxi Driver one was reused on a DVD release. I just don't know which one it is. Well, I want to thank you, Larry, for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Check
Thank
out
you, Alan.
Larry's film, The Quantum Devil. It got a good review on Film Thread. Very good review. It is out now. You've seen the trailer. Check it out. Larry, have a great weekend and a great Halloween.
Thanks, guys.